Hello to everyone out there watching. You're in luck today. We have a very special Law and Order themed PopStart Plus for you. We're diving deep into all the characters from the long-running franchise you know and love, including updates from the one and only Mariska Hargitay, a.k.a. Captain Olivia Benson, and, of course, Detective Elliot Stabler himself, Chris Meloni. And later, we've got must-see clips from our vault of Meloni and Hargitay from 20 years ago. But first, let's begin with two stars on the OG Law and Order. Sam Waterston plays an original character to the franchise, District Attorney Jack McCoy, and now Hugh Dancy portrays the ADA. They stop by our third hour for a peek at season 22's premiere.
We know what that sound means. Law and Order is back, or as my mother-in-law from Boston says, Laurenata.
I love it. And for the first time in the show's history, all three Law and Order shows are coming together to tell one story.
Man, what took so long? The season starts with an international hunt for a young suspect.
Prosecutors Jack McCoy and Nolan Price are trying to figure out how to bring her back to face justice.
I don't care what Captain Benson thinks. She doesn't get to play God. Get a court order and bring this girl back to New York.
Not that easy, according to our extradition treaty with Canada. Anyway, if a request for extradition is made under this treaty for a person under the age of 18, and it is determined that extradition would disrupt the social readjustment of that person, it may be recommended that the request for extradition be withdrawn.
Still, worth a shot.
But to what end?
Wait.
Sam
I can read.
Hugh Dancy.
What happens next?
I'm just curious, when you're holding a prop like that, are the words on there?
Oh, please.
Okay.
I really hope so. Otherwise, we're all in trouble.
Sam, I mean, I've been a huge fan for years.
Bless your heart.
Oh, I've grown up watching Law & Order. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Jack McCoy, the character, what is it about him that he's managed to endure 18? You've done it for 18 seasons now. What do you think it is that people enjoy so much about the district attorney?
I have no idea. Luck. I know that what I was thinking was that he was a merry attack dog. So that has legs.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And what do you think it is? I was just telling you guys, both of you guys, downstairs, you know, everybody's buzzing about it. They can't wait. They were on YouTube watching clips. I mean, it's just, what do you think it is about this franchise? I mean, people just can't get enough.
I agree with Sam. I mean, it's hard to say, particularly from the inside. Whatever it is, particularly, I think, the show that Sam has done all these years.
He's doing all the hard work now.
I don't know about that, but there's something about that formula and about that machine that just keeps working.
And you guys haven't seen what we're going to see tonight, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, this is the first time the whole Law and Order universe is coming together, this huge crossover event, which a lot of people are asking
some of them
why it
didn't
took
even
so
exist
long.
when we started out.
Organized crime. Yeah, organized crime was...
And here it is, tonight. So without giving any spoilers, what can you fill us in on? What can we expect?
Well, it's a 3-hour-long story with all of the characters from all three of the shows, SVU, Organized Crime, and our show, working together throughout those 3 hours. So, you know, as you know, normally you would get 3 separate shows. This is one long story with a scale that I suppose hopefully lives up to that.
Yeah. And so many actors have passed through.
It's good.
We can't wait to see it. There's so many actors passing through. In fact, I understand your wife, Claire Danes, played a young murderer in one of the earlier episodes.
That's what she tells me, yes.
In 92.
Yes.
So you guys have something in common.
There she is. There she is right there.
Oh, my good Lord.
Have you seen
that? Was a good, oh, my good Lord.
She's guilty of sin, clearly.
I think they should bring her back.
Amazing.
What is she doing now?
Yeah. So what about you've also in some amazing movies that have become like classics to people. So Ella Enchanted is one of those movies that I've watched with my kids, my girls especially. Is that something special to you that people have to stop you in the street, I'm sure?
It's lovely. You know, if you make anything for kids, you have a beautiful few years where kids come up to you and they can't believe that they're seeing you in person, and it's delightful. And then 10 years later, they've all grown up, and it becomes a little depressing. But yeah, people love that film.
Sam, I want to take you back to your first acting job in New York City.
Oh, good.
1962, Shakespeare in the Park. Take some of those early days in the park, because they just celebrated their 60th anniversary, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And you were there from the early days.
Yeah, I played the second shepherd, Charlie Durning. of blessed memory, played the first shepherd. And I found out that Shakespeare was not above a low gag. I was in love.
Yeah.
And my exit line was to leave despairingly, shouting my girlfriend's name.
Yeah.
And I ran off saying, Phoebe, 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 and the house came down. And, yeah.
And you met your wife during that production, and years later...
No, I didn't meet my wife during that production.
Years later, you would work with your daughter, though, on that production.
Now we're talking about Much Ado About Nothing.
Yes.
Which happened
It's Shakespeare in the Park.
many years later. And yes, indeed, I did meet my wife then, and I always thought that she says no, that I got by on my own merits, but I always thought that playing Benedict didn't do any harm.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Sam, Hugh, thank you both.
Congratulations.
Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be with you.
No, come back anytime. That Law and Order premiere event tonight, 8 o'clock, 7 Central, only on NBC. All 3 episodes from tonight's event will, of course, also be available to stream tomorrow over on Peacock.
So great to hear from them. Coming up, Mariska Hargitay and Chris Meloni detail what might be in store for their characters this season. Stick with us. Welcome back to PopStart Plus. At a recent Law & Order press event, we couldn't help but ask SVU star Mariska Hargitay and organized crime vet Chris Meloni about what's to come for their beloved characters.
You know, I think that because Olivia and so many of the characters on our show have been through so much trauma, I really wanted to delve into that a little more. And, you know, we have this idea that like a strong woman, you know, she just deals with it. But the way somebody is strong is to be comfortable in their vulnerability. And so I wanted to sort of take this, I don't know if the word is this, take this idea that people are like, oh, they're just strong and they're just come out strong. Real strength has to do with feeling the feelings, dealing with them, and moving through them. So I wanted to deal with some of the PTSD that Olivia Benson had from you know, the people that she's dealt with and all the William Lewis storyline and all that, but really go back into it, deal with it so she could put it behind her. And trying to model for people that we don't have to be so scared of things that have happened, that healing is possible if we face them and if we have the courage. So dealing with that and this idea and fact that the only way out is through. Well, the script is written, so we do a lot of work and we would plan it, and I would work with the writers about what we want to say. And, you know, it's a very beautiful collaboration, obviously, because this is not, you know, it's a unique situation because we've already lived this. We have 23 years of what has happened. So I think that we'll plan it very carefully. And then Chris and I always work on our scenes together to make them the best and most truthful that we can.
I mean, my job as a sergeant is just to watch Olivia, as they say, watch her back, from that line I had back in the day, just to cover her and make sure what orders she sends out gets accomplished. So you see Finn more in a control road, working with a lot of the new detectives, making sure things are done the way she wants. But, you know, you'll see me and her sit in her office and she'll give me the outline of what needs to be done. But Finn's pretty solid. I don't get into anybody's personal business. I don't get into any of that kind of stuff. I just handle the job. I'm strictly business.
Trying to find his footing, still trying to find his footing, because there's going to be shifting sands, you know, in the unit, and I'll just say that, yeah. So, you know, hopefully he's ever evolving.
You guys will see in this new season, Stabler and Bell have a few moments, you know, where they're talking about what Bell is going through, and he's. The way their conversations go, they're just so sweet. Like one of the scenes I love because it goes from me being really serious and like just heartbroken and him giving like, well, when I was married to Kathy, you know, this and that. And then at the end, he says something to me and we both crack up laughing. Like it just shows the layers in their relationship. You know what I mean? It's like, they're both like, yeah, we're kind of whack. We're awesome, but we're also kind of whack with relationships, you know. So it's gonna be great to see Belle go through this journey and, you know, who she becomes, you know, going through this divorce, and having Stabler to be able to lean on, I think is really important.
The good news about that is that there's so many, you know, and we were just, when we were shooting last Saturday and the time before, we are so in this thing of going down memory lane and remembering our favorite memories. And I'll tell you something, it's just a blessing because it rains down memories. I mean, 23 years, we were together 12 years, but also the friendship is a long time. So we have a lifetime of beautiful memories, and we talk about them a lot.
23 years for those two, just incredible. Now, we also got the chance to ask Hargitay about what it was like to work with Law & Order newcomer Mehcad Brooks for this evening's crossover event, and the backstory behind the set photos of them literally jumping into each other's arms.
Mariska's the kind of person, I told her that my brother is the biggest SVU fan in the world. And she's like, what's his number? I go, okay, here it is. A couple months later, she calls him, out of the blue. It's out of the blue. Talks to him for like 15 minutes. And my brother's gonna remember that the rest of his life. You know what I mean? My family's gonna remember that the rest of their lives. And so that's who she is. She's a legend in our house. So I was telling her that story. She's like, oh, that's so sweet. I remember that actually. Yeah. She's like, when I get to know you better, I'm just gonna run up to you and just jump in your arms. I go, do it now. She goes, really? I go, do it now. And she goes, okay. So that's what you see. So in between takes, in between takes. We were just kind of walking down the street and we did the dirty dancing thing. Like just, you know, we tried. It wasn't graceful.
Well, Mehcad is this just amazing specimen. He looks like a superhero. And so every time I see him, I'm just like, I just want to run into his arms and have him hold me because he can. And so I was like, can I come and jump in your arms? And he's like, sure. And so he did. But it's like acting with a superhero. He's so much fun and so kind and so sweet. And it's really been a joy to get to know him. And he was actually on SVU years ago. So it was so fun to see him back as a regular.
If Chris and I had arm wrestled, what'd he say?
No. I tried arm wrestling early on, and I don't have the technique / skill set, and he's a pretty big man.
Honestly, because Chris is so intense and he's so competitive, I think he might get me. I might be stronger, but I think he might get me. Or he would give me a run for my money in a way that I was not expecting, for sure, 100%.
For those of you who are major Stabler Benson fans, we have even more for you. We recently caught up with them to talk about all the feelings their characters might be having. Stay with us. Welcome back to PopStart Plus. When given a moment to speak with Mariska Hargitay and Chris Meloni, we can't help but ask how their characters might be feeling toward each other. And we got some interesting intel from Hargitay and Meloni themselves at press events earlier this year. The Benson and Stabler's very special bond. Take a look.
Olivia being the product of a rape and not being raised by a single mother hasn't had a lot of stability in her life in terms of a male figure. And Elliot Stabler was the first person that really came in her life that really had her back, whose focus was to protect her. And so there was such a deep safety in that, knowing that these two people keeping each other safe and keeping each other alive was the most important thing that gave her such a confidence and a stability that she never had. So I think that spending that much time with somebody, but then knowing that it could never be, but the chemistry has been undeniable. It's been a complicated factor in their relationship.
I think he's in the middle of realizing it. Yeah, I think it's more difficult for him. I think he's carrying a lot of stuff. No, that's our thing. I mean, look, there's nobody who knows these characters better than she and I. So, yeah. And with all due respect to the writers, whatever you see is really she and I figuring it out and figuring out what the exact words are or the exact emotions are. Yeah.
She can tell that they love each other. I don't know if Belle is concerned about whether it's a platonic love or a romantic love, but she can see the bond that they have. And I think she's going to want whatever is best for Stabler at the end of the day. I think she's a supporter of his emotional health, his mental health, and hopefully they hook up and they get together and it's a great, relationship. I think Belle would definitely be on board,
Maybe the intervention scene.
Elliot, tell us what you need.
I love you. This is a guy who's got to figure out a lot of things on the move, right? He's got to figure out what life is now without his wife and all that. And, that's like a real unit. That was a thing. And then all of a sudden, all the emotions that are attendant to my wife is gone, so I'm now allowed to act upon, or I just think there's a lot of peeling of the onion that needs to happen.
There's been so many, because he and I, we go there and we drop into a place and then sort of don't know what's going to happen. But I loved some of the scenes in his initial return of the prodigal son. But each scene that I always go home at the end of the day after he and I have worked together and feel so inspired and sated, because we push each other and we challenge each other and we go to uncomfortable places. And so it's a very exciting work environment.
A favorite scene? There's a lot of them. I think I love shooting with him, period. Like, we have so much fun, and we both care a lot about the story and making sure that our relationship, in the script and whatever it is we're talking about in that scene, that it makes sense to the audience, and that it's authentic and pure. So, we did a scene the other day that I absolutely loved. Like, it was just us just talking and, me kind of checking on him, I think the scenes where we're not talking about police stuff, like, it's the scenes where it's relationship stuff, it's me caring about his well-being and, maybe trying to get him to see things in a different way. Those are the ones I really like the most. Episode 15, there's a scene in episode 15 with me and Chris, and then Mariska comes in at the end of it. That scene is awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, that was super fun to play. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are going to love it.
Last but not least, even more from Mr. Meloni from our vault all the way back in 2001. You have to see this. Stick around. Welcome back to our special Law and Order-filled PopStart Plus. Chris Meloni first took on the role of Detective Elliot Stabler back in 1999. A few years later, he stopped by today to update Al Roker on what would become really the role of a lifetime.
Christopher Meloni, good to see you.
Nice to be here.
Man, you are working like a dog. You tell me you're already shooting. You're halfway through next season's Law and Order.
Yep.
And you're shooting episodes of Oz right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a brand new baby.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Exhausted on Law and Order Special Victims Unit, confused on Oz, and complete joy when I'm with my little girl.
Well, you sure don't want to confuse those roles.
No. I'm breaking out of here, kid. You're coming with me. She doesn't want to hear that.
I don't think so.
She wants her Benky, and
there
just
you go.
rock me, baby, rock me.
So, playing a brutal killer in Oz, how do you make that turn then also being a Law and Order guy most of your day?
Yeah, you know, I just kind of in general terms, I feel as though, you know, they're both kind of the same guy in that they're doing what they believe is right, and they're going by what their moral code kind of tells them. The only difference is the Elliot Stabler character for SVU is much more concrete. His moral compass is really defined black and white, and this is right and wrong. The other guy, Chris Keller on Oz, he can shade in and out of the lines, but he always feels justified. I think.
Interesting parallel. I mean, you're working like crazy in real life, and you got a new family, a new daughter.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I do spend more time with Mariska than I do with my own family.
So can you relate to your character?
You know, I'd tell you, since having the baby, I play a family man on the SVU. I have 4 kids on that show, and this is my first child, and boy, has it opened up a lot of things for me. It's very deep and special.
Does it give you new insights into your character?
Oh, very much so. I mean, which kind of shocked me and in ways upset me, because, you know, as an actor, you go, you know, I can go anywhere. I can try different things, and there's some things, you know, you don't know until you know.
Yeah, it's got to be kind of heady stuff. I opened up the New York Times today. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
The New York Times is front of the weekend section. And there you guys are, right there, talking about crime and punishment and crime paying. In fact, one of your Law and Order mates on the other Law and Order, Apatha Murkison. That's very nice. How does that feel? I mean, you're part of this Law and Order family. For the longest time, I was calling it Law and Order SUV.
Right, as was everyone.
but that must be pretty heady stuff.
You know, it's when I signed on, I just kind of had to cock my head for 1 second and look at, you know, from where it was coming from, which is Dick Wolf, and, you know, I think he's got a great structure, he's got a great machinery going, he's a smart man, and so I had no hesitation about it.
Well, good luck with next season.
Thanks a lot.
With all the seasons, all the things you're doing, Chris, and congratulations on the baby. Want to say hi to her?
Hi, Sophia Eva Pietra.
Wow, what a trip down memory lane. And to round us off, we have a glimpse of the Law and Order SVU set from that very same year.
In this show, it's so much about the ensemble.
Yes.
The story's the star. It seems like it's more of an actor's program.
You're correct. I think the crime is a star. You know, the viewers tune in to see, okay, let's watch our heroes follow the crime. But we all really love each other as people and as performers. So that makes it such a pleasure. So I don't mind handing the ball off, and everyone gets their chance to bat.
Guess what? She's dead. Fresh gash to the arm, definitely post-mortem.
Your second season. Are you ready to be in here for the long haul?
Yeah, I sort of see what life throws at me, and I'm so happy to be here. I sort of trust the process. Who knows where I'll be in 3 years, but I love New York, and I love this character, and I love my castmates, and so I'm pretty happy right now.
Mr. Roker certainly got around during those early Law and Order days. We should mention you can tune in to NBC at 8, 7 Central tonight for a very special 3-hour season premiere crossover event. That'll do it for us, Law and Order fans. Hope you enjoy. Join us again tomorrow for more interviews and info you need to know. Until then, so long.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.